Philippine Ambassador to the United States, Jose Manuel Romualdez. Magandang gabi po. Magandang umaga po, Ambassador. And thank you for joining us again dito sa Facts First.
Magandang umaga sa iyo, Christian. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Okay. What about this fear or concern by a lot of people regarding the immigration policy of the president? Siyempre, matagal na naman yung pinag-usapan nito, no? Of course, he seeks an end to this birthright citizenship dyan po sa United States. And I remember before he assumed office, you laid out a plan for Filipinos who might be affected. No? Can you talk about it? Are we ready for this new policy by the U.S. president?
Well, itong birthright is something internal. I think that it's an executive order that President Trump signed, I think, on the first day or the second day in office. But now it's being contested in court. I think there are 20 states that have already filed suit against it because it's embedded in their constitution. So these things are going to have to be resolved, obviously, by the Supreme Court at some point in time. But the effect it will have with the Filipinos is most especially those that are already here but are not documented, and if they give birth here, there is a question whether they can claim the child can claim to be a citizen or not. The chances are they probably will. But however, in the future, because I know that there is also a bill that is being formulated in the U.S. Congress, that they really would like to end this birthright citizenship, because there are many people who come to the United States just to give birth here, which we know of course.
And enjoy the benefits of being a U.S. citizen. Ganun yung ginagawa ng iba.
Yes, maraming ganun. Well, it's a natural thing. Why not? It's not only the Filipinos who do that. There are many countries who would like to have an alternative way of life.
Pero within the Filipino community dyan, across the United States, they have an idea. Do we have an idea how many might be affected by this new policy?
I would think that there will probably be... well, first of all, we have about 320 to 350,000 undocumented Filipinos living here in the United States. A large majority of that have been living here for such a long time. So perhaps they have a good legal path to become permanent residents if they start working on it they need to get a good immigration lawyer. But the bottom line is you really have to make yourself legal here, because sooner or later these things like this will come up. And I think President Trump is very serious about it, mainly because they feel that talagang sumobra na yung number of people coming into the United States illegally. And the worst part is that they have committed a lot of, there are many criminals. It's really true. Totoo yan, because I was in New York not too long ago at marami nagsasabi sa akin dyan na talagang yung crime rate, most of this is committed by illegal aliens or illegal immigrants.
And this resounded among the voters, which is among the reasons why they went for Donald Trump, no?
Absolutely.
I remember before he assumed office, you advised undocumented Filipinos sa United States to pwedeng bumalik muna, di ba, umuwi.
Well,
what happened there?
Some people criticize me, masyado ka naman brutal, ganyan. Alam mo, it's not me. Alam ko kasi marami akong kilala na were deported even before President Trump put up this new immigration policy, na hindi na talaga makabalik dito. Humingi ng tulong sa akin at saka sa mga ibang ating mga kasama kung pwedeng tulungan makakuha ng visa. Pero once you've been deported, talagang maski anong gawin mo, maski sinong gamitin mong magpadrino para sa'yo, talagang nandun na yung pangalan mo, deported, overstaying. Overstaying lang yan, wala ka pang ginawang really any major crime. It is a crime to stay in the United States illegally. Pero yan ang sinasabi ko, na kung talagang it's better not to be deported dahil may pag-asa ka pa makabalik dito, at saka you can do it the right way now. Yan ang aking laging pinapaayo sa ating mga kababayan, na kailangan tama ang gawin ninyo. Hindi pwede yung style na palusutan dahil talagang agrabyado ka talaga .
Pero may takers po ba? May mga voluntarily umalis when after you give that advice?
Siyempre, hindi naman sila, they're not going to come out and tell us. although we have some information that there are some people who've left the country because actually sila nandito overstaying lang sila dahil they had tourist visa. Siguro isa o dalawang taon na lang sila dito. Yeah, yung mga yung mga taong that overstayed, talaga namang wala silang plano to migrate here. They just enjoy being with their families or whatever it is. So I think they've decided to do that precisely so that they can renew their visas.
Mm. Pero what happened dun sa ano? Sabi nyo, you were preparing a plan with the other officials ng Philippine Embassy in anticipation of this new policy. Ano yung plano nakalatag po for this undocumented Filipinos?
Last December, we had a full meeting of all our consulates. Na pumunta sila dito sa Washington, D.C. at pinag-usapan namin lahat ng mga anong possibilities na anong pwede nating tulong na ibibigay sa ating mga kababayan na may problema sa mga sa kanilang status, no? At meron kami mga kinausap na mga groups, Filipino lawyers, no? Ang tawag nila FLAG, which is a Filipino Lawyers Association of the Philippines or something. And they voluntarily came to us and said, tutulungan namin. Pwede kami makatulong. First and foremost, gagawa sila ng kung ano yung mga rights na pwede nilang isalang sa kanila na pwede silang maiwan dito sa Amerika dahil meron silang certain rights. So yun ang unang-unang ilinabas namin yan sa aming website. The second one is kung meron talagang mga kaso dyan na pwede talagang may legal path sila, tutulungan nila. Kung talagang they cannot afford it, they will have people who will try to help them along the way to do the legal work to be able to help them. At yung mga iba naman na talagang hindi talaga may pag-asa to get a legal roadmap, di yun ang advice na binibigay natin na talagang umalis na muna sila. Para ganun, meron pa silang chance na gawin nilang tama yung gusto nilang gawin na to be able to have a legal status here in the United States.
So far, ilan po yung mga nakausap ng mga consulates natin?
Well, we don't have the figures right now. Alam mo, some of these things, of course, we have to keep confidential dahil, and rightly so, dahil siyempre ayaw rin nila malaman na talagang illegal sila dito. So we're also trying to help them in that sense. That we're just simply trying to give them the right advice. At siyempre, as the embassy here, hindi naman natin pwedeng sabihin sa kanila, dito muna kayo, magtago kayo dito sa Amerika, ganyan. Dahil we're conniving with that one. We want to have good relations. Yan ang trabaho namin dito, to have good relations with your host country. Hindi, marami nagsasabi, masyado kang pro-American. Trabaho namin yan to have good relations with your host country. Yan ang ating trabaho. So that precisely, pag meron tayong problema tungkol niya sa mga ganyan, especially pag nakadetain yung ating mga kababayan, pwede natin tulungan dahil pwede natin kausapin yung mga local authorities.
And I think, diba, ang commitment ng isang embahada, tulungan sila whether maski illegal, diba? It's your responsibility to help them. Pero not to connive with them. Tama?
They're taking it the wrong. Some people have taken it the wrong way that we're just telling them to. Hindi ganun yan We're giving them the best advice that we can give them. Dahil kinukonsulta namin yan sa mga, in fact, we consult even the authorities themselves. Ano ba talagang tamang pwedeng gawin? So ito yung sinasabi nila na kung talagang hindi sila pwedeng maging legal dito sa Amerika, mabuti na umalis na muna sila para merong pag-asa makabalik. Ngayon, kung talagang desidido sila to take their chances, yan ang wala tayong magagawa dyan. Ngayon, pag ma-detain sila for some reason or the other, dahil illegal nga sila, that is another part of what we have to do. Dahil meron tayong what we call assistance to nationals. No? We have an entire section of our Department of Foreign Affairs headed by Undersecretary Ed De Vega that is prepared to do what they can to expedite their processing to be able, dahil ultimately they will have to be deported anyway.
Pero dun sa priority list ng US when it comes to deportation or banishment ng mga illegal aliens, hindi naman yata nasa taas ang yung situation ng overstaying, di ba? Ang priority yata yung mga gang members, criminals,
yes, diba? Definitely. Ang number one talagang priority nila, yung mga meron ng criminal record at saka criminal elements. at saka identified yan. At saka, tapos merong about 1,300,000 that have already been decided by the court that they are not eligible to stay in the United States. Tapos if you remember, doon sa speech ni President Trump sa inauguration niya, he declared cartels
Yes,
as
terrorists.
terrorist. Ngayon, pwedeng gamitin nila yan as a national emergency situation dahil they are actually a threat to the national security of the United States. Meaning to say, kasi marami talagang ini-smuggle dito galing from the south na ang cartel ang may kagagawa niyan. It's a syndicate. Ini-smuggle nila, kinukunan nila ng pera itong mga kawawang mga tao, the refugees, at pinalulusot nila. Alam mo, there are so many gang, really evil elements talaga. Lalo na yung mga babae, they rape them, and it's really horrible. I'm not trying to be a do-gooder or anything like that. Pero pag naririnig mo yung mga storya na yan, naaawa ka at it's best that they really should be given an opportunity in a clean way. So hindi yung ganun na i-smuggle sila at mas lalo pa silang napaagrabyado.
Pero isa yatang unintended consequence nito ay yung possible profiling ng mga legally nandyan naman pero they just happen to have a different ethnicity. So is there any effort to somehow minimize that possibility? Kunwari, Pilipino ka, legally nandyan ka, pero because of this current political climate in the United States, baka unnecessarily ma-profile sila. Ikaw illegal ka, tingin ko illegal ka, mukhang gang member ka. Maski hindi.
Merong possibility na gano'n. Pero kaya nga nandyan tayo. No? So when we find out something like that, dyan tayo nakakatulong sa ating mga kababayan. Lalo na kung legal sila dahil talagang meron silang certain rights. And so we use whatever leverage we have into making it right for them. If you remember, meron yung hate crime nga sa mga Asians. Marami sa ating mga kababayan na medyo sinaktan, lalo na sa New York. Dyan talaga, we were very strong with the government. Talagang we demanded that they be given protection. And in fairness to the government of the United States, talagang they went out of their way to also to find ways and means to protect. Dahil hindi lang Filipinos, marami mga iba. They just happen to have Asian faces. Talagang sinasaktan sila. So all of us, kaya tayo, we're a member of the ASEAN. Dito sa Washington DC, the ASEAN ambassadors are very united. We meet every month and twice a month, in fact, and we meet as a group, always with the U.S. government. 10 kami dito na we are very tight with each other in trying to work together for the good of the Asian region. In fact, I was the chairman up to December last year. And now it's Singapore. We take turns every 4
rotating.
Months. Yeah, every 4 months nagkakaroon ng chairman. And during my chairmanship, yan ang ginagawa ko. Marami kami mga meetings na ginagawa, lagi with the State Department or with any of the authorities here in the United States.
Meron pala kayo dyan parang mini ASEAN Summit sa Washington.
Oh yes, definitely. And that's very important, Christian. That's I always tell people that there is strength in numbers. And the ASEAN is a very, very strong group because remember we are 650 billion strong, and we are a big economic powerhouse. Dahil the Asian economy is now going up like anything. Kaya tayo hindi tayo. I mean, masama loob minsan natin pag nakikita natin countries like Vietnam are doing mas madami silang mga export ganun. It's a challenge for us. But at the same time, maski na papano, they're in the Asian region because at some point in time, like what we have now, the RCEP, which is the Regional Comprehensive Economic Cooperation, it's good for the entire economy of the Asian region. And there will come a time when we would be just one economy and we will be a force to contend with.